Hey, what's up guys? It is Ally the Creator. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new. We are working today on one of my new favorite builds, actually. It was like a swampy home that I did. I am kind of using the build reference from a tiny house video that I watched on YouTube, and I will link that down below because I thought that the house was really interesting. It does have a spiral staircase in the front that obviously I wasn't able to do, but I think that the stairs that probably took a very long time to do in this build turned out really nicely. But I am just working in Henford on Bagley because I thought that the trees kind of could nestle the build back in really nicely. And I think overall, this build turns out really well. I have play tested it all because there are some like kind of awkward spaces in the home and just around the build, but everything does work properly. And we are right now just working on some of the greenery outside. I am going through the debug menu, and that's where I get most of the plants and trees from because I really like things just kind of fitting into the world, and I think that it works really nicely. But I'm just kind of pulling out all the objects that I want to use. I really love the build and buy objects in this, and also the debug menu for Henford on Bagley. Oh, everything here is so beautiful. It's one of my favorite packs to play with right now and just build in because I just love everything. But I'm just pulling out some of the things that I want to use. We do add a little bit of a greenhouse later, so I kind of take these things off the grass and I throw them in there. But yeah, we're just kind of going through, and I'm going to make shift and figure out how I want the house to look right now. So the house that I was thinking of was, it was like a tiny house, and it was 3 stories with the stairs outside, and the bottom was just kind of like a sitting area, and then the second story is the sleeping area, and then the top, I don't really remember even what they showed, but I'm pretty sure I made it just like a little office and like a outdoor eating space. But it could be different in the video. I kind of had to like make this the way that I perceived it to be, but I think it turns out really, really well. It takes me a while to figure out the stair situation because, like I said, I really wanted the stairs to be kind of windy and just like to go around the build and just kind of look a little inconspicuous, like they fit there. But it did take me a while to figure out how to like properly do the stairs so that way it looked nice. But I'm pretty sure that this is the way that we end up keeping it. And I add a lot of pillars to that so that way it looks like it's keeping the structure and like holding it up at least a little bit. I could not figure out a way to delete this platform underneath these stairs, so I did end up like kind of just making it like a wooden texture to kind of fit it in with the build. And I think that it works in the end, but I really wanted to delete it. It was driving me nuts. But yeah, we are going to now mess with the pillars for a little while until I can figure out how to actually get them to onto the second level. But we do figure it out. This whole build kind of, it turned out a little funny. But it was really interesting and it was really fun to do. It's not something that I've tried to do before. It was all new, obviously, and like I really loved doing all of the like outdoor space, and I think that it all like turned out really, really well. But this build was very long, and it took me about 3 hours to do just on my own. But yeah, it turns out really nicely, I think. And it's definitely like a swampy home, so it's like, I don't know, it's just like something that like maybe a hermit would live in, or someone who wants to live off the land. I believe I leave a lot of gardening space outside on the left side of the house, and I put in a huge lake all around there with lots of greenery. I've really been enjoying like decorating the outsides of the lots, like all the shrubs and everything and the trees and all that for Henford on Bagley, because I think that it all just turns out really nicely. But I did give like kind of a steeped roof for this build, and I think that it works. It kind of just, it looks like this house is just kind of nestled into the trees. But yeah, I really like it, and I like the way that it turns out. I think that everything really fits. Yeah, so I'm just changing the roof color, and we are going to add the roof toppers. I do spend quite a bit of time messing around with the roof just to make sure that everything is like, it fits and it all looks nicely. But I really like these little features of like the rabbits running on top of the roof and stuff. This new house that I built that's coming out later this week, I used a lot of those on like different sections of the home, and I think that they turn out really nicely. But yeah, we're just figuring out the build of the house and adding all the little features that I wanted to. It does take me a little while to figure out how I want the roof to look. And I was moving around those a lot, but it fits in the end and it works out. And we add one of these dormers, which I believe I size it down one, so that way it fits properly, because I thought it was just like a nice little feature for the front of the build. And I'm using all of these cottage living things. And then I believe we're going to get working on the little pond, which I kind of thought was kind of like a small lake. I do put some things like at the bottom of the lake that like maybe this has been here over like a long amount of time and like it's all been sinking. But I absolutely love this huge tree that is in like the far corner, because it really looks like something that's just been like growing over time. And I added this like old tree stump that maybe somebody like either cut down or like it fell down over time, and they're just like, they left it there. There's like an old bike that I kind of shoved into the tree that like maybe they parked their bike there like 50 years ago and the tree has just kind of grown around it. So yeah, I really like all of those like little features, and I think that they all come together really nicely. And we're just working on the layout of the house. So I wanted to really like reference the inside of the house for this tiny house build that I had watched. So we do kind of keep things very minimal, so it's kind of like a rental home. But I did do a like glass shower. That's the spot with all the windows in it, so that way like you can use the windows for your glass shower, and it's kind of like a romantic getaway in a sense. And we're just figuring out the top floor right now. I added a door, and I believe there's an outdoor barbecue area up here. And then the downstairs has an outdoor bath with windows all around it, and we're going to add some really large doors. I couldn't figure out which doors I wanted to use here at first, but I do believe that I delete those and add some windows, and I use this archway from Jungle Adventure. That way you can kind of just walk right in. But I thought it turns out really nicely, even though you can walk right into it. But I thought it, like, nobody's going to be sleeping down there or anything. So, and there's lots of light, so the bugs won't be too bad. But yeah, I think it turns out nice. I did pick out these dark windows. I really love that window where like the tiny one is propped open. I think that is the cutest thing ever, and it looks so nice. So I just love using those. But yeah, I pick out a small circle window for the bathroom, and then we're working on the flooring. So I use this dark flooring from Cottage Living, which I believe that I might switch it to be a lighter floor, and then I put the dark flooring outside, if I am not mistaken. But yeah, so there we are. I'm just switching the flooring, and then I use the Cottage Living floor just outside on that one piece that I couldn't delete. And I do use platforms to raise up a few steps to get into the bathtub that I'm going to put down there. But right now we're just working on the living space. So like I said, it's just like a very small getaway spot if like somebody isn't deciding to live there. So once you directly walk in, it will be an open kitchen, and then the bathroom is that long room there. But here I am just picking out the shower that I wanted. So I wanted it to be kind of like enclosed by all of these windows, so you can like look out while you're in the shower. I don't know. I thought it was romantic, and it was kind of sweet that in the house that was built on this, like for this tiny living Airbnb, that they used that. I just thought it was like a really nice idea, and I think it like turned out really well. But here I am just working on the downstairs part. I just pulled out the bathtub that I wanted to use, so I knew how much space I needed to raise it all up. But yeah, I thought about just raising it up one step, and then I thought that I should probably raise it up a second, and it did turn out really well. I thought about raising up the house also, but I didn't really want there to be a step up to get into the first room, so I ended up deleting that, and we just raised up everything inside. And I do pull out a lot of clutter just for like the downstairs part, so I believe I put a fireplace down there, just if they want to sit in front of the fire. I thought that would be nice and cozy. And a couch, and I think some suitcases are down there as well. But I really wanted to use one of these really, the really large, like 2x2 coffee tables, but it didn't end up fitting in there. So I do kind of move everything around in a little bit, and I believe that I shove in a smaller coffee table. But yeah, we're just adding some lights to kind of create this nice ambiance for in this room. And I pull out a nice rug, even though there is a fireplace there. When I was playtesting it, I did not start a fire, but I'm just saying be cautious of that because later on we do add a fireplace, and that does happen quite often. but we're just working on the kitchen area. I know I'm kind of just flying all around the house, but I was kind of just doing it from memory instead of like watching a video beside me. So I think that this kind of works. I added a dishwasher and a little like cook pot. I wanted to be able to have like a lot of counter space so that way two people could cook together. And there is the sink in the bathroom that you could use like if need be, but I'm kind of just shoving everything into the wall, that way it's playable. And I'm pretty sure that I add a chair in the corner and a TV, but I could be mistaken. But yeah, I just kind of went for like neutral tones and like little pops of color for like pink and stuff. We pick out a small bookcase, that way they can read if they want. And here I am, I think I'm just picking a smaller chair. Yeah, so I pulled out this little plushy thing and I added another window, which works in there. Yeah, so I wanted to have like a lot of like big space, let a lot of natural light in, which obviously is already happening because there is plenty of windows, but I thought that having 3 windows while you're sleeping to look out onto the forest, that kind of is nice. I really love these tables that are from Snowy Escape, but almost nothing clicks onto them, which is very frustrating. So I'm pretty sure I use like these little candles. Yeah. So that like oil lamp, that's the one that I used. And I think that this is part of the fence that is clipping through over by the microwave, but I thought it was kind of fine. You can hardly see it, so I just kind of left it and I didn't struggle to get rid of it. But obviously you can rearrange things for the outside if you want to, because I'm pretty sure it is one of the hand railings for on the stairs. But here we are just working on the 3rd floor. And like I said, I added a barbecue outside, and I'm pretty sure I delete those those potted plant spots because I needed space for the barbecue. But I just had like a small home office up top with some books, and I think a chess table goes up there as well. And I am pulling out these like little windows that I absolutely love and just placing those around the build, and we pull out like a nice simple desk, which I'm pretty sure I changed to be a gray desk. There's a lot of browns going on up here, which is kind of clashing with everything, but it is also like a wooden style build for the woods. But here's an art easel that I just pulled out, and we're going to pull out a table and some chairs soon. Yep. Just so that way you can have like a small barbecue up top if you want. And we went with blue and I think gray chairs. Yep. So there's seating for 3. So maybe if you have like a friend over or something, or if it's even just one sim who lives here, then they can have like 2 friends over if they want, or you could just add some more chairs. Yeah, so this is kind of it for the house. I think I just add a few more like little knickknacks around the house and a couch up top. And then I think I'm going to reconfigure the 1st floor, or maybe work on a little bit more landscaping. I did add a greenhouse in the back because I just wanted to put in, I'm pretty sure it's a flower arranging station, and I just wanted to have like some space to like do some work outside if you want. So yeah, I add this huge barn door. I don't think I've used that before. It's from the cottage living pack, but I really, really like it, and I think that it like turns out really nicely. In this build, it kind of like suits what's happening. So like it's like this little outdoor place, and it really suits the build, I think. But yeah, I just shoved those suitcases back so it looks like they're on that window, even though they're kind of like sitting outside. It really drives me nuts that you can't put things onto these windows. I really wish that you could, but oh well. I did the best I could. And here I am just adding a flower arranging station. I added the little beetle nook or whatever, like the beetle house, into the trees there. And then I'm just going to be moving and adding some flowers and stuff into this greenhouse. I added this little chair so I could add, I think these are turnips that are in this box. But I thought it was like really cute, and it's like a simple thing, so it looks like maybe they have a garden outside, which I'm pretty sure I add later on with Brussels sprouts and stuff and lettuce, but like maybe they're just pulling things out of their garden and that's where they sort through it all. So here we are. I think I'm just going to go through the debug menu and pull out a few more things for the lake, so it looks kind of like someone just bought this and maybe it's like an old house nestled in the swamp and it's just like sitting there. So I thought about kind of shoving this boat into one of the trees, but it doesn't really suit the build properly, so I did sink it in the lake. So yeah, there's a boat sunken in there if you would like to get it out. But I thought it was just kind of funny to be able to put that in there. I added a lot of like ducks and dragonflies and some turtle logs and just like a lot of like life around here, which I thought was kind of like a homey touch. And then I'm just going to be working on some of the greenery all around this. I really, really like all of the like the ferns and stuff that you can get out of the debug menu, and even the ones that are in the actual catalog. I think a lot of them like turn out really nicely, but we do add quite a bit of greenery around this place. And even these purple plants that are from Granite Falls. I cannot remember what that pack is called, where you like get away on a retreat. But yeah, we're just working on some fencing that I'm pulling up from the debug menu. Obviously, your sim will walk through this. I am so sorry for my cat. She gets so excited when I talk. But yes, your sim will walk through this fencing, but I thought that it was like kind of nice because the whole idea of this build is that like it's this like rundown place that you're coming in and like kind of fixing up as you go. So like you're planting things around the farm, and there's a lot of things that are broken now, but you got to fix them up over time. So I thought that it kind of worked well. I do add some vines around the house because I absolutely love these vines. I love all of the greenery that comes with cottage living. It's just such a nice, like, well-rounded pack. But yeah, so we're just adding these. I really wish you could like raise up the vines a lot easier to just like move them around the wall instead of them like clipping through and always wanting to be on the first floor. It's kind of annoying, but oh well, you can't always be happy. I wanted to use these like lights for in the trees. But they didn't really work in this build, but I do have another build coming up that I did use them in for like autumn and stuff, but I think that it turns out really, really well. And even this build turns out nicely. I just added like lots of like shrubbery and flowers all around the place to just kind of give it a little bit more life. And I added some more mushrooms around the build, just like to have something going on. I think that all these like little details, it really adds to the build. I did add this well too, because I thought maybe like they used it like forever ago and they used to have this well in the house. But yeah, I think I added a bunch of things around the one post. I really wanted these like leaves or whatever they are to like fit over this garden shed, but they really didn't fit very well, so I ended up having to delete them. But I thought they were like a really nice touch, so I might build a place later that like they fit onto. So I thought that would be really nice. But yeah, I'm just pulling out a bunch of rocks and things just like to put around the little lake, and just like a few different like shrubs and greenery just to kind of like fit into the build. And I'm pulling out a mailbox. I don't use this mailbox very often. It's like kind of, I don't know, but I thought it really fits in this build. It's like kind of swampy looking. And we're just going to be working on some of the landscaping. So this build is actually almost done. It came together very nicely just because I kind of knew what I wanted it to look like. But I would really love if you would like and subscribe and comment any other builds you'd like me to work on. I kind of like doing these really interesting things. So if there's anything else that you would like to do, I'm thinking of doing a treehouse soon that somebody asked me to do. So I think that could be like another really interesting build that I'm going to be doing. And all of our Halloween builds are coming out soon, so get ready for all those. Because I absolutely love Halloween, so I think that's going to turn out really well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that everyone enjoys this build. And you can find me over on Twitter. I am over on there if you want to subscribe. So enjoy. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.